You know, in my last video, I said LA is done. And I got a lot of responses in the comment section saying my city is done, this state is done, that state is done. A lot of different individuals agreeing with what I said, and then also the input was that the prospective areas in which they are living is also done as well. Well, I'm going to go a step further, and I'm going to say that America is done for us. And one rich Negro showing how good their life is, or a few rich Negroes showing how good their life is not going to compensate for the millions of Black Americans who are suffering economically, socially, politically, suffering in all the 9 areas of people activity that Neely Fuller Jr. has talked about: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. We are suffering in all those areas here in the United States of America, which brings me to the conclusion that America is done. I would say that America is done for everybody, but I want to specifically say that America is done for us. We are on the bottom in every area of people activity. We have the highest unemployment rate. We have the highest poverty rates, the highest incarceration rates. I would say that we have the highest homeless rates, the highest underemployment rates, right? And we are deep in debt. We're living beyond our means. I don't care. I looked in the comment and I seen one individual who says, "Oh, don't try to compare LA to Atlanta." I didn't compare LA to Atlanta, but for this fool, and then the fool goes on to say, "You lost all credibility when you said that." If you listen to the whole video, you will see that I was not comparing apples to apples. What I was saying is that what happened to Black people in LA is going to happen to Black people in Atlanta if they don't get their stuff together. And I'm not speaking from someone from the outside. I'm speaking from someone who lived there, who spent over a year there. And all I've seen is for the perceived Black people who had money, right? The Black people that seemed to have money, it was all a facade. They were all maxed out on their credit cards. I worked in the service industry, so I know this personally, right? I know this firsthand. I did Uber out there. I worked in the service industry out there. And often I would go to these mega mansions, and the Black people complaining about the simplest things. Oh, you missed this, you missed that. Not willing to tip. And I had to say, either these people are very stingy, that they have, and they're very stingy, or they just don't have it. And I come to the conclusion that they just didn't have it. And this is all they got. Either they are months behind on their car payments, months behind on their mortgages, and the repo just ain't came yet. But it wasn't what it's saying, and it was a lot of crab in the bucket, a lot of nepotism, all that was going on out there. In the midst of this, you had this large influx of people from Latin America, from Latinos, coming in and taking the labor jobs, the menial labor jobs. Now, you may say, oh, well, we're past that. Okay, well, all of us are not going to go and become, go to Morehouse or, one of the HBCUs out there, Clark, and become doctors. That's not the destiny of every Black American, foundational Black American person. That is not the destiny of all of us. Some of us are going to go into these trades, and some of us are going to go into menial labor. And what I was seeing is the Hispanics the Latinos, Hispanics were working their way into the menial labor. They're going to work. They work the service jobs, and then they're going to work their way into the skilled trades. Plumbers, carpenters, electricians. They're working their way into that as well. And those brothers are still out there doing that, but they're working their way into there. And that's exactly what happened in LA, and it's over out there. They got all they control the unions. They have all the union jobs, and then they have all the skilled trade jobs. They got the government jobs, and then I see another person comment, well, that's discrimination. They can't just hire their own people. That is true. But they can say, as a requirement to work here, you must speak Espanol. You must speak Korean. You must speak Mandarin. They can do that. And how many Black people are going to go out and say, okay, I'm in my 30s, late 30s, 40s. Okay, let me just go ahead and start learning Spanish and Mandarin and Korean so I can get employed. No, come on, man. Let's be realistic. So they can't just directly discriminate, but they always gonna find a way to bar out a certain people. And that's what you see. You'll see speaking Spanish is a requirement when you apply for these jobs. Speaking Korean is a requirement when you apply for these jobs. Now, so what I'm saying is America is, when you look at everything and how everything is going, the politics, the division in the politics, the involvement in other countries' wars, and the meddling in the affairs, and it's almost like they're not trying to learn the lesson of, hey, do you honestly think that the U.S. can continue to poke the bear and meddling in the affairs of other countries' wars, and sooner or later these countries that are threats, that are becoming more powerful militarily, that these countries don't all of us one day just say, we all gonna come together, we're all going to come together. If we alone, we can't go against the U.S. But if we unite these 4 countries, and we should know what they are, then we form a formidable power to go against the U.S. You don't think that's going to happen if the U.S. keeps poking the bear and meddling in the affairs of other people, like with this whole Israel thing? And it's not sitting. It's never going to sit well with a certain country because they feel that land was taken from their brothers and sisters, and you're helping the country that did it by sending billions and dollars of our tax monies over there to help them. That's not going to turn out good. That is not going to turn out good. So that's why, when you look, and then if you look at the people, how tense we are now, how quick the anger we are now, the violence that's going on here, the mass shootings that are constantly happening over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's like it's become normal, that so much so that people are desensitized to it. When you look at all these things that's going on, one would have to say, let's look back at other great empires and that were once great, like comparable to the U.S., and they met their demise, and what was going on in those great empires at the time that they met their demise. It's a similar situation to what is going on here. Now, what can we do? I've already said, I think I've offered suggestions in my videos, and some of us may not be in a position to do that, but if you're in a position where you can start to go to some African diaspora countries and form relationships, and we start to look at countries that are willing to make it easier for us to come over there and acquire and invest, and not trying to scam us and not trying to take advantage of us, we need to consider that. I'm in a special situation that maybe other people watching this video are not in, but I'm in a situation where the individual that I'm dealing with is not from here, and I have to say, and it seems that the individual has all the support over there on that side where I lack that support here. What is more conducive what is more conducive for the situation? And though I try to hold on, sometimes you have to realize that you have to swallow your pride. You have to let go and make that sacrifice and say, hey, I know I want to do this. I know I want to continue this, but this ain't working out. And it's selfish and it's unfair to continue to put others who are innocent through it because you want to hold on to something that ain't working out, as opposed to doing something that seems to be better overall for the other individuals that are innocent, have nothing to do with this situation. They just came into it, but it'll be a better situation for them. So, yes, man, I just, I appreciate everybody that commented in the comment section, and I just have to say, I can look at the environment. I can look at different media outlets, and I can put it all together and just look at personal experience and being observant of the environment. And all this leads me to say that America is done for us. It's just sometimes you know when you I like to use an analogy of track and field if I can. Sometimes, you know, you're running a race. Let's say you're running an 800 or a mile. And sometimes that lead person has such a lead on you that even if you try your hardest, they're still going, you know, they're still moving. They're not stopping. And you're so far behind, you're trying to catch up, but as you're trying to catch up, they're still moving. And no matter, unless you get some rocket jets on the back of your back and you just, you know, fly over them, if they keeping their steady pace and you keeping your steady pace, and you may pick up your pace a little bit, but they still keeping their steady pace and they got such a lead, the race is over. You're not catching up. And that's kind of what's going on right here. Too many laps have been gotten to where even if we trying to catch up, unless a drastic thing happened like, you know, reparations, and we've been fighting for that for over hundreds of years, unless something like that happens where they level the playing field, they level the race, they give us a jetpack, we not catching up. The race is over, and we don't have the numbers. They're bringing, the borders are open. They're bringing in thousands, tens of thousands of hostile immigrants. And these hostile immigrants, once they get over here, they drop it on the ground and dropping 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 babies right soon as they might do it right on the border. They might drop 3 or 4 babies right there, three or 4 anchor babies, who are they going to train to be hostile towards us. I mean, I'm just saying it's we holding on by a thin string, and can't a few Negroes, a few successful Negroes speak for the masses? No way. The masses are messed up. Can't a few successful Negroes say, "Oh, we good"? Don't listen to that jazz. It doesn't make sense statistically, mathematically. So with that being said, this is your brother Jay International tapping back in once again. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.